Okay, so welcome to our live power hour. I'm going to record the beginning part of this just because I kind of have some like tips and things that I wanted to share before we actually dive into the power hour. So thanks for hopping on, guys. Um, okay, so I'm sure you probably hear this a lot and you've heard it since day one in the business that the basics are key to everything, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that. But I mean, I think to truly stay engaged as a coach, that we have to be pushing ourselves to be consistent with the basics, because otherwise you kind of feel like you lose momentum, you lose excitement. Sometimes it leads to you falling off track with your journey or vice versa, and you just don't have that same passion and purpose. So I wanted to, ask you guys to think about the time in your business when you felt the most motivated and the most momentum and the most inspired, and what were you doing at that point in time that made you feel that way? Because it is normal to hit, slumps, where you feel like it's harder, or you're like crawling uphill, or you're struggling to hit Success Club or whatever. Like, everybody has those months and those points in time. But I think that self-reflection and self-awareness is really huge, in knowing how you want to feel in your day-to-day life and also just in your business when you're feeling your best. And most often, the case is going to be that you're crushing it with a program, following it to a T, you're drinking your shake every day, you're being really mindful about your nutrition, you're doing your PD, you're sleeping enough, you're doing all of the things that highly successful people have to do to stay on track. Like, there's legit studies about the things that highly successful people do to keep themselves in a place of high energy and inspiration and motivation, to stay focused. And I think that having that consistent groundwork that you're doing helps you keep that pace, if that makes sense. Like, think about it like this: when you're doing a program, right, and like you crush it for a week, and like you're on track with everything, and you're on point, and you're feeling really good and feeling energized and feeling confident, versus a week where you're kind of half-assing everything, right? Your energy and your confidence level is totally different, is it not? And it's the same with the business basics. Like, when we are half-assing things, a lot of times you're going to have self-doubt creep in and negative self-talk creep in and all of this. I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and I should have showed up and done this, and I wouldn't be struggling if I had done XYZ. And it's like this constant chatter in our heads of what we could be doing differently or what we need to change. And when we, like I said, have self-awareness, you can catch yourself when you are starting to kind of shift or lose momentum or get into a funk, so that you can quickly pull yourself out of it. And one of the quickest ways to do that is by taking action, whether it's in your journey or in your business. Because I promise, if you've been in a funk and you haven't done anything in like a week or 2 weeks, or you've been slacking for the month, and you sit down and you force yourself to show up and do a full out power hour and crush your day, like, at the end of that day, you feel so much better and you feel so much more accomplished, because you're pushing out of that stuck phase, right? So I just kind of wanted to say that like, if you hit struggle points, or if you hit points where your motivation is kind of tanked, make sure that you're, number one, like, really clear on why it is you're here. Because I truly believe if you don't have that bigger driving force and that why and that vision and know what that's going to feel like for you to get there, you're less likely to show up and do the basics. Because how the hell are you going to work towards something if you don't know what you're working towards, right? There's no driving force behind why you're going to show up and do those things, even when you don't feel like it. And then evaluate, what can you do differently in your day-to-day basis to make you feel like you felt when you were on fire in your business or in your personal journey. I've been having to work on this myself lately too, because I get in those phases too. It's end of the year time. It can be stressful. You might be pushing for really big goals. Things happen in our lives, right? We all hit those funky places, but it's important to step back and reevaluate. More on a less, kind of self-awareness level, is just like the feeling you have a fulfillment when you are helping new people and you're getting them plugged in and they're starting to see change and they're happy and they're seeing results and you're getting messages and you really feel that you're making an impact on people, that also affects your confidence as a coach and your desire to show up, right? It makes you happy. It makes you feel good. That's what we do as coaches, right? But further beyond that, I know that a lot of times the hardest struggle is building a team and bringing people into the business. And I can look at my team as a whole, and the majority of my coaches were challengers first. I personally was not a challenger first, so it's a little different for me. And I know that some people come into the business right out of the gates, but like, one of the best ways to grow your team is to connect with women, to plug them in, to help them get results, to help them develop that belief in the programs, in the products, in the community, in the support system, and then share with them what it is we do, right? So if we are not constantly pulling new people in and helping them see that and feel that themselves, then we also struggle not just in hitting Success Club and helping people, but in really starting to grow a solid foundation in a business and a team, right? Furthermore, you know, you're hitting Success Club and your goals every single month, that grows your income over time. So once in a while, you know, I will be mentoring a coach and they'll have had, you know, a couple month period where they haven't been hitting Success Club, or maybe you've been a coach for a year and you haven't been consistent with it. And it's like, well, my income isn't where I thought it was going to be, or I'm not growing like I thought I was going to be. And the thing is, like, unless we are full out hitting non-negotiable goals, like, we can't say that it's the business that's not working. We have to own the fact that we are not working to get to those places where we're seeing a change and a compound effect, and that all compounding over the months and months and months to the year to 2 year to 3 year to whatever, right? It's not the business that fails, it's us as people. And that's why we have to continue to grow as coaches with personal development and trainings and leaning into things like this that you're on right now, team calls, whatever it is that helps you be more consistent and be better. The next thing I wanted to mention just quickly is that I think that sometimes we tend to overlook, like, has anybody ever been on a Success Club trip? No. Okay, so I don't know why this popped in my head today when I was sitting down to write these things down, but like, I personally, since the first year I became a coach, have earned every single Success Club trip fully out, fully paid for. And I don't say that to brag. I just say that because the first year I didn't even know that I was going to earn that trip. Like, I earned it just because I was showing up and doing what I needed to do to help people and hit my non-negotiable goals and build a business. And it's like all of these perks that come with it, hitting Success Club Legend or All-Star or Success Club trips. You know, you get rewarded in so many ways, even just beyond the monthly Success Club prizes and growing your business and helping people when you show up and are consistent with those basic things. So like, think bigger. Like, when you have a month where you're struggling and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it to push right now, maybe I'll just work for, you know, I'll wait till next month and I'll start over again. Rally for that stuff, because at the end of the day, it makes a huge difference in what you get out of this business, right? And then the last part that I wanted to touch on is that when you have, you know, the foresight to show up and to learn these things and to teach yourself how to be skilled and consistent, right? And I'm not saying that you're being perfect, because none of us are. But when we get better at these things, it develops your confidence in also knowing that you have the ability to teach somebody else to do what you do. And if you know, number one, how to do it yourself, and then you then can go and share that and explain it and teach it to somebody else, you start the duplication process. And that is how you grow a larger organization with a team of coaches that are eager and willing and wanting to do the same things you do, right? I don't know about you guys, but like, when I was a newer coach, I was like terrified of like, I don't even know what to do with somebody if they join my team. Like, how do I help somebody learn to do what I do, right? And that's the simple thing, is like, if you are doing those basic things, you can teach somebody else to do them. If you know how to invite, if you know how to share on social media, if you know how to stick to your journey and post a transformation photo, if you know how to follow up with somebody or, you know, hit Success Club, you can teach somebody else to do that same thing too. Like that, I think that we often overlook the fact that this business is really simple when you strip it down to the daily things that we have to do to see success. And you'll hear that over and over from every single top coach in the company, that it's not that they're doing anything that is magical or, you know, something that anybody else can't do. It's just that they do it diligently and consistently and more frequently and probably higher numbers than most people do. So I don't know about you, but when I started to kind of understand that, it helped me believe in myself a lot more. Like, well, if anybody can do this, I can do this. And if I can learn, then I can teach somebody else. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I just wanted to mention that before we get started, because I think sometimes it's important to connect the dots that what you're doing when you're sitting down to do basic daily behaviors like this is a part of a way bigger picture. And it might not feel like you're moving forward in any sense of the way when you sit down and do stuff like this, but when you add day upon day after day after day after week after month, your entire life can change and you can impact however many people that you desire to impact, and you can grow a large organization to where this business has changed your entire life. So my pen just broke. But anyways, that was what I wanted to share. So does anybody have any questions about any of that before we actually dive into Power Hour behaviors? No. Okay. I'm debating if I should keep music off and record this or not.
We can make our own music.
Nope. I'm going to end it because I think that, how do I'm trying to figure out how to